Alright guys, check out my Ring of Honor uh, DVD collection here. Best in the World 2017. We've got ROH Nigel McGuinness and Kenta here, 7th anniversary show. We got the Road to Final Battle of 2016. The second ever Ring of Honor show, or DVD I should say. Remastered here. Open it up, there's the disc. Some of the matches here on the back. We got Loki and Danielson, Spanky and Joe, that's Brian Kendrick, Christopher Daniels and Loki, C.W. Anderson and Elix against Christian York and Joey Matthews, Brian Danielson versus Christopher Daniels. This one's pretty cool. It's 2010 Highlight Powers, Richards and Daniels, against the Kings of Wrestling, which is Claudio Castagnoli and Cassius Ohno. Then we got the Punk Joe trilogy, as you see right there, second disc. Fantastic. Go check that out if you haven't seen those trilogies. We got Steel City Clash here. Kenta. We see El Generico. Pretty cool. This is from 2009. There's some stuff on the back here. Kenta and El Generico versus McGuinness and Davey Richards. Roderick Strong, Austin Aries. Brian Danielson and Mike Quackenbush. Delirious versus Sterling James. And these a couple of bonus matches. And you see Bloodstained Honor. This one here comes with a Danielson card. Always like them when they include stuff in DVDs. Also got the Greatest Rivalries. This one comes with a Nigel McGuinness card. This one and this one is the same exact one. It's just this one's the actual, like, from World Wrestling Network, Mat Wars, Round Robin Challenge. As you see, Christopher Daniels, and Loki. And here there's more information. It's Loki and American Dragon versus Ken Shamrock as the ref. Spanky and Jay Briscoe, Daniels and Loki. So these two are the same, just a different cover, and one of them's remastered, but it's the same event. But yeah, so that's basically a double. Then we have June 24, 2016, Best in the World. Good stuff. The Battle of St. Paul. Got some good stuff there. As we see Morishima versus Austin Aries. Roderick Strong versus Christopher Daniels. Good stuff there. Delirious versus Rocky Romero versus Jack Evans versus Eric Stevens. Four Corner Survival. Good stuff. Then we got the Stars of Honor. This one too also has a card with Brian Danielson. And we got the ROH Elite 2017 from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. There you go. Go on the back. Cody versus Rocky Romero. Taven and Flip Gordon. Best Friends Against the Addiction. The Briscoes Invade. Jay Lethal, Katie King, and Dalton Castle against Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. So good stuff. This one is a Full Impact Pro and ROH present Shimmer. So there you go. Some of the matches here. Allison Danger, Beth Phoenix, Mercedes Martinez. So you recognize some names on there. Ariel versus Rain. Sarah Del Rey. So all the women of honor, I guess you'd call it. And you got 2016 Road to Final Battle, 2016. As you see over here, main event for the world title: Adam Cole, Silas Young. The Addiction versus Dalton Castle and Colt Cabana. Bobby Fish and Briscoe. Lethal and Kampatachi. Hangman Adam Page versus Mark Briscoe. A lot of good stuff. The only ROH shoot interview I have with the Midnight Express. Pretty cool. 2004. See Bobby Eaton and Jim Cornette. That's Dennis Connery and Bobby Eaton and Cornette talk about the road stories and stuff. So that's pretty cool. We got the Ring of Honor, Survival of the Fittest. June 24th, 2004 from Philadelphia. We got Punk versus Hydro, which I do believe Hydro was Jay Lethal before he was Jay Lethal. CM Punk, Colt Cabana versus Dunn and Marcos versus the Outcast Killers and versus Special K. Samoa Joe versus Matt Striker. Homicide versus Jay Briscoe. Colt Cabana versus Trent Acid. Mark Briscoe versus Alex Shelley. So it looks like a pretty good one there. We have, of course, ROH Final Battle from Fort Lauderdale. This is the road to Final Battle, I should say. Some of the matches on this. Matt Sydal and Jay Briscoe. The Young Bucks against Jay Lethal and Donovan Dijak. Yeah, that is the Donovan Dijak from WWE. Red Titus and Cheeseburger versus Moose with Stokely Hathaway and versus Dalton Castle. Roderick Strong versus Delirious. Adam Cole, Kenny King, Kyle O'Reilly against Tim Hughes, and Briscoe versus Will Ferreira. Then we got ROH, the final chapter. This is right before he went to WWE. So there it is, 2005. This is 2 out of 3 falls against Colt Cabana. Matt Hardy, Roderick Strong. We got Samoa Joe and Jay Lethal versus Homicide and Loki. Austin Aries and Jimmy Rave. Matt Sydal, Delirious, Alex Shelley, Nigel McGuinness in the Four Corner Survival. Good stuff. We got ROH next, 2004. Joe versus Homicide. Mark and Jay Briscoe versus the Outcast Thrillers. Second City Saints was Punk and Ace Steel against the Prophecy with Alice in Danger. Alex Shelley and Hydro again. There we go. Don and Marcos versus the Christopher Street Connection and Special K. And we got collectors series here of Adam Cole. Right there, Ring of Honor, 3-disc set. 1, 2, and 3. And we got the entire match listing here on the back. Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, Jay Lethal, Tatsuya Naito, Adam Cole and Briscoe, Adam Cole, AJ Styles. So a lot of cool matches on that one. We've got the ROH 1-year anniversary from 03. This one's got Xavier versus Paul London. Xavier was the second or first Ring of Honor champion. So that's pretty cool. And we got a Four Corner Survival. Oh no, Scramble match I should say. With the Hit Squad and Divine Storm versus Special K. Paul London versus AJ Styles versus Loki. American Dragon versus Samoa Joe. CM Punk, CW Anderson. So good stuff on there. This one is Full Impact Pro presents Before They Were Stars. It's presented by Ring of Honor 5-disc box set. Right here. So some pretty cool stuff. Here's the back. Hard-hitting action. We have got Violence is the Answer, In Full Force, Payback, Heat Stroke, and Usual Suspects. On here we have Colt Cabana, Spanky, Jamie Noble, CM Punk, Samoa Joe, Homicide, Antonio Banks, which was a MVP. Then we have 2011 Best in the World. Good stuff here with good old Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards. And some pretty good stuff here. Christopher Daniels, El Generico. Steve Carino against Michael Elgin. Homicide versus Rhino. Some good stuff there. And we got The Summer of Punk. 2-disc set. Open this up. There's disc 1. and disc too. There it is. And on here you have Punk and Austin Aries, Punk and Lethal, Punk and Roger Strong, James Gibson and Punk, Christopher Daniels and Punk, Samoa Joe versus Gibson versus Daniels versus Punk for the ROH World Title elimination match. And he got Punk and Colt Cabana in a 2 out of 3 falls from the final chapter. So the same match we had on the other one. And we got Full Impact Pro here, presented by Ring of Honor. Again, Declaration, CM Punk, Volume 1. As you see there, Punk against AJ Styles and Homicide. Highlights, all the matches you see that doesn't say highlights are actual full-length matches. Punk and Rain Man, Punk and Homicide, Punk and Dan Moff, Punk and Homicide, and Punk versus James Gibson. And here's Volume 2, Best Rise of a New Dawn, Volume 2. There you go. Against Puma and Azrael. Punk and Antonio Banks for MVP. Punk and Azrael versus James Gibson in Homicide. Punk and Puma. Rocky Romero in Homicide. So some good stuff there. Also got ROH Cage Rage 2007. This one you've got Mark and Jay Briscoe against El Generico and Steen. Steel Cage match. Roger Strong and Jack Evans. Eliminator match 3-way with Claudio Castagnoli, Brent Albright, and Takeshi Morishima. Pac versus Danielson. 6-man match right there, you can see. Delirious and Nigel McGuinness, which is Whitmer and Adam Pearce. Yes, that is the Adam Pearce from the Raw GM here. Jimmy Jacobs and Red Titus and Chris Hero and Hollow Wicked. And the last one I got for you guys is the best in the world. Open this one up. This one's got an Austin Aries card right there. So pretty awesome stuff and very good stuff here. Bryan Danielson and Lance Storm, Morishima and Nigel McGuinness, Claudio versus El Generico, Joe and Kenta Kobashi, Styles and Matt Sydal versus Dragon Kid versus Horiguchi, if I can say it. Kenta versus Austin Aries. Joe versus Kitterer with Mick Foley. And Punk and Funk. So, here's the overview, basically, of my entire ROH DVDs. As you see right there. Basically almost 30 ROH DVDs, and with the 5-disc set it brings it over 30. But look pretty awesome. Thank you guys for joining me. This was my entire ROH collection, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.